life happens. That's why I always get people to have a starting point, that 1 minute, that one squat. If you're talking about your business, one social media post a week or whatever it is, just start again. You don't have to wait till Monday. You don't have to wait till the beginning of the month. Just start whenever it is. Start with whatever you can do and just get back into it again. Life's going to happen. It's fine. Try and build that habit back up again. It's reframing what consistency looks like to you.
Hey friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Hey, my Feel Good friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and today's guest is oh so amazing. Her name is Lisa, and we are talking about how you can start using micro habits to really develop long-term consistency in the things that you want to do and the ways you want to improve in your life and business. I love this conversation so much because while Lisa is a fitness coach, which side note, she's from the UK, and so I love the little UK language quips that she uses. It's a little bit different than our American language, but also we aren't just talking about fitness habits. We are also talking about things that you can use, strategies you can apply to any habits that you want to create in your life. So this can be applied to business, mindset, social media, all the things. I love the takeaways that Lisa really shares, and I know you're going to love this conversation as much as I did. So if you do, make sure that you share it with a business friend who could also use to listen to it. And while you're at it, why not leave us 5 stars or a friendly review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, because it really does help us to continue growing our feel good community and spreading that feel good message. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming on the Feel Good Social Podcast, lady. I'm so excited to bring you on the show.
Hey, Kinsey. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I did already introduce you just a little bit in the intro, but I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve?
My name's Lisa. I'm a fitness coach and remote personal trainer. I predominantly work with women. I love working with women who run their own businesses to help them keep active, look after themselves around their busy schedules, give themselves a bit of time and create habits that help them fit movement in and around their day, build up confidence and strength, and feel good and comfortable in their own skin.
I love your message and just how you help women so much. And it's so needed, especially for entrepreneurs. I also just have to say, I love that you use the word fit movement into your day. But I do like to kick off the conversations by just asking, how did you get started doing what you do? What has your journey looked like, lady?
Oh, gosh. So probably started when I left school. My background's in dance and musical theatre. I went away to performing arts school and trained professionally. Ended up going into teaching straight away rather than performing. And while I was training at college, I got injured and ended up having to have physiotherapy, and that's where I first discovered Pilates and the power of looking after ourselves. When I finished college and started teaching, I realized there wasn't much money in that. So I trained in different fitness disciplines, Pilates being one of them, and personal training and things like that. Fast forward to 2020 when the world shut down. I couldn't do my in-person classes, my in-personal training and things like that. So I went online like everyone else. I've evolved my business to be more online since then. I've got one in-person class and a couple of clients I see once a week. Apart from that, everything I do is virtual. I did some more training during the pandemic, updated my knowledge on the latest information on strength training, looking after ourselves and rehab. I really learned the power of regular movement. All the guidelines around the world recommend that we move regularly, we keep our heart healthy, we do strength training, and so many people just aren't doing that. So I started working with people, creating habits and fitting in movement around their day because we're busy, especially as women, we're busy, especially as women business owners, we're busy. You've got a family, you've got a life, you've got other things you want to do. So I really focused on building up sort of small movement habits around your day. I'm sure we'll talk more about that as we go on, but that's like my 20-odd year journey in a nutshell.
Oh, I love it so much. It makes so much sense to me, especially in the fitness space. There's so many rules, the diets to follow, the fitness plan, an exercise plan to follow. I don't know, for me in my life, and I don't even have children yet or anything, but I just feel like there's so many curveballs being thrown our way all the time. And also navigating my own energy, whether it's my cycle throughout the month or anything like that. But then also entrepreneurship is so tied up into emotions. And in the world we're living in today too, with like social media, and we're being slapped in the face with all this different type of content, like my motivation, my energy, all that different stuff can shift so much from day to day. I love that you're helping people create habits that are simple and easy, micro habits, you call them, right? Can you tell us more about that idea?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So like you say, we, especially as business owners, one day is not the same as the other. Our energy isn't the same. Our schedule's not the same. So I love to teach people bite-sized movements and habits, or movement snacks. Like we have a snack with our food, we can have movement snacks as well. And it really helps to create sustainability in our workout or our movement habits. Because when we create habits, what we tend to do is we're like, oh, I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And we have all this motivation. Then a week down the line, something happens and we end up stopping. And the reason that is because habits are built up with a series of lots of little habits. There are lots of little steps that we build up over time. So it's not just, for example, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, or want to work out at home, or whatever it is. It's all those tiny little steps we have to take to build up to get there, basically, to even get on our mat or get our weights out or whatever it is, or to go out and do a class or something. So we have to break them down into lots of little steps. Some people say, oh, but what's the point? What's the point of just doing one squat while the kettle's on, for example, a starting point? Well, the point is that you start there, because starting is the hardest part. You've got to take the smallest version of what you want to get to and break it down so it's so tiny you could do it on your busiest day. That's your starting point. You keep doing that regularly, whatever that regular momentum, the pulse you want to fit into your day, week, your schedule. You build that up until that becomes something that you do automatically. So you want to make it so simple that it's as easy as brushing your teeth. Then you can start building it up over time till eventually you get to that 3 workouts a week or whatever it is you want to do. It means you've got that starting point you can go back to on your busy days. So one, it's a way of building up habits over time so they're sustainable, they last. But 2, it's also a really great way to break up our days. You're at your computer most of the time working away, and then we're like, oh gosh, I haven't moved for ages. I've got a foggy head. I've been staring at the computer. We're like, I haven't been outside for hours. So it's another great way to break up your day. Go and do 5 minutes of a little dance party, stick on some music, go out for a short walk, get your eyes away, looking further ahead than just your computer screen. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what I really like to teach. Those stepping stones, those small bits, those micro habits that build up to longer, bigger term goals, but also to fit movement consistently. So it's not about being constant. It's about finding that consistency that works for you over time.
What you said about getting out the yoga mat, is one step that we don't even think about often, but sometimes that's the step you're dragging your feet to do. Or there's all these little things.
And I always say something is always better than nothing. Go and start, even if you don't feel great. There's definitely some days when you need to rest, absolutely. But sometimes it's, do I need to rest, or am I just being not lazy, but can I just try? Can I do something? Quite often you'll start something, you'll maybe go for a 5-minute walk, you'll pick up your dumbbells and do one, whatever it is. And then you might be like, that's fine. That's it. I've done it. I've done something today. But you might also think, oh, I can do more. Build on this a little bit more. It just helps us feel so much better. I feel like you feel more energized. You feel maybe a bit warmer. Your head feels clearer and all of that. And the more we look after ourselves, the better we are for our business, for our clients, for our family, for our loved ones. It's really important that I think that we put ourselves first so that we can then give. We're very giving generally as women. We want to help everyone and look after everyone, but we also need to put ourselves first and look after ourselves. It always gets pushed to the bottom. Oh, I'm going to work out. Oh no, I don't have time. I've got to do more other important things. Fitting movement or workout, or however you want to say it, And going back to what you said earlier about I talk about movement as opposed to workout. Workouts are movement, but I like to use the word movement because it's not always formal exercise. It can be lifting weights, going for a run, going for a walk. But it can also be housework, playing tennis. It could be running around with your kids. It could be all those sort of things. Like I know you love doing rock climbing. That's great exercise to get out. And sometimes all these things include a community as well, which is important.
Okay, here's the other thing too. I always think about, I call it like the diet culture, the all or nothing culture, the falling off the horse. Yes. So many people are like, I'm on a diet, and then they go and eat a donut and it's like, diet's over. But the same thing can be applied to social media. Yeah. I always compare that to people who have trouble showing up consistently on social because it's like, they're posting, and then they miss a day and they're like, my consistency streak is over. I might as well just quit. Like, no, just like post tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Or post whenever you can again, you know? I think that we need to shift the way we think about consistency.
100%.
And also what was coming up for me when you were talking, I really like jogging. Just like clear my head and stuff. Usually it's just like dragging my feet to get out the door. And then once I get out the door, I'm just like so happy I did. And it clears my head, makes me feel good about myself. But then also when I'm jogging, I'm very aware of my body and I've given myself permission. Like I don't have a specific goal. I'm bad with competition. So I'm not in competition with myself. I don't want to go a specific distance or anything. Some days I go my average amount. Some days I'm not feeling it and I'm like, okay, we're going to cut this one short. And then some days I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. We're going to run farther, like around the lake, you know? And I allow myself to shift my plan depending on how I'm feeling and give myself permission to like do that and then also not feel guilty if I don't quote unquote meet my goals. That's like my other issue sometimes with exercise, but like just things in life. And I know you and I have actually chatted about guilt for all the different things before. Do you run into that at all? Like with your clients, like do they really get down on themselves if they can't do it? How do you navigate that whole feeling guilty or the falling off the horse feeling?
That definitely comes up a lot. And I think what I like to say is it's going to happen. Life happens. That's why I always get people to have a starting point, that 1 minute, that one squat, whatever it is. If you're talking about your business, just one social media post a week or whatever it is, just start again. You don't have to wait till Monday. You don't have to wait till the beginning of the month. Just start whenever it is. Start with whatever you can do and just get back into it again. Life's going to happen. It's fine. Try and build that habit back up again. It's just looking at consistency in a different way. It's that all or nothing mentality, isn't it? It's having that low bar, that low starting point. You start, you build it up. Maybe you'll do more and you'll keep on that. Then maybe you'll need to stop for whatever reason or you drop down to a lower level again. It's reframing what consistency looks like to you. And another thing I really like to talk about is knowing your motivation behind why you're doing it. What's your reason? Why are you moving your body? Why are you doing whatever it is in your business? Always coming back to that, because when you know why, that's going to take you beyond motivation. That's going to push you on the days when you really don't feel like showing up for your business. You really don't feel like showing up for yourself. You don't want to go out for that jog. You don't feel like it. But if you know why you're doing it because of how it makes you feel afterwards. Maybe in the moment you don't feel great doing it. So that's fine. We're all like that. But afterwards you feel great. It gives you a clearer head. You can get on with your day. You can power through your to-do list. You can get stuff done. You just feel better about yourself. It helps to build resilience in ourselves as well, that bounce back ability, which is so useful, especially for us as business owners, because we obviously hit roadblocks. We're our own worst enemy. We're always hard on ourselves. And then maybe we can talk about online and comparison and things like that in a minute. But yeah, so reminding yourself why, reframing what consistency is to you, and just not being hard on yourself. Just knowing we're human. We're human beings. Life happens and that's okay. And being flexible with what you're doing. And then just, if you do happen to stop for whatever reason, that's absolutely fine. Maybe you can have a look at why it happened. Were you trying to do too much? So maybe adjust your expectations of what you realistically can achieve, readjust that, and then just start again. Whenever it is you can, just pick up and start again and do something, because something is always better than nothing. And I think that's a mantra for life that we should all stick to.
Yes, I love that. I just chuckle so much how like everything in life applies to everything in life. Like all the things you just said can be applied to business stuff as well. I think we all need to remember, especially as solopreneurs like you and I, or even like women with small teams too, but like still most of the people listening right now, and you and I as well, we're building businesses that are so personal. You know, we're the head, the big creative thinkers, we are the face, you know, and it's helpful sometimes for sure to somewhat take the emotion out of it and try to like remember that it's not super personal. Everything isn't. And at the same time, it's important to remember that taking care of ourselves allows us to show up in our businesses better. Like I feel so much more like myself, like feeling better in the moment after I exercise, but also carrying that through the rest of the day and feeling more confident showing up online, feeling more happy and even like calm and like balanced with the interactions I have with people. Like, oh my gosh, every time I go on a walk, I was like irked about something or run, you know, especially if I'm real irked, it's a run. And I'm like, oh, that's not as triggering as it was. So like it really does carry into all different places in your business. Can you share a little bit about comparison, like you were saying?
Oh, yeah.
Social media and business stuff.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Social media is wonderful. We love it. We all use it. But it's, you know,
rolling your eyes.
It's like Marmite. Do you have that saying where you love it or you hate it? Do you have that in the US?
Yeah, like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. But Marmite's like a spread, like Vegemite that they have in Australia.
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. For listeners, I'm in the UK. Sometimes we have different sayings. But yeah, you either love it or you hate it. So it's one of those things. It can be useful, but it can also be a detriment as well. Social media is a great place to connect and interact with people. It can sometimes be a great place to get information, as long as we run that information through our critical thinking and our filters. It can also be a place of misinformation. You can go on there and start comparing yourself, whether it's looking at things to do with fitness or whether it's to do with your business. We can go on there and be like, oh, but everyone's telling me I have to do this and I should do this. They're telling me this is the right way, but also they're telling me this is the right way. And it's like, what is going on? Which is why I love to simplify things for people, give them a few basic facts based on science and solid principles. It's the same with our business, having those solid things we want to do and being secure in what we stand for and what we want to do, and taking the information in, again, running it through that filter of, does this work for me? Am I just gravitating towards the latest shoulds and this, that, and the other because, you know, I'm feeling a bit lost or I'm feeling a bit emotional? So yeah, definitely knowing that we're all unique. Social media is a highlight reel. It's not showing every second of every person's day. People are only sharing on there what they want to. So it's remembering that.
Let's take a quick break.
Do you want to create more Instagram Reels but get stuck on what to post? I hear you. That's why I'm excited to share our new free resource, the Reels Prompt Playbook for ChatGPT. This playbook includes 20 ready-to-use AI prompts for Reels, hooks, and captions, and makes it super easy to create trendy content that grabs attention without spending endless hours scrolling Instagram for inspiration. Whether you want to share behind the scenes, offer quick tips, or tap into the latest trends, the Reels Prompt Playbook has you covered. Download your free Reels prompt playbook at DIY with.ai/Reels. And the best part, these ChatGPT prompts are designed to work for entrepreneurs in any industry. Plus, you can pair these prompts with any trending audio or any video that you find on your phone. Basically, they're super easy, super quick, and will keep your content super authentic while saving you loads of time and headache. Grab your free playbook now at DIY with.ai/Reels and start showing up on Instagram consistently today.
And having strong boundaries with social media as well. If for whatever reason, even if it's someone you know, like your best friend or whatever, it's sort of triggering negative emotions in you, you know, you're starting to compare yourself, you're feeling bad about yourself because of something they've posted, set some boundaries and mute. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mute people all the time. You can mute people on Instagram. They're never going to know that's happened. You just won't see their stuff for a while. If it's someone who really just doesn't fit, you can block them. Limiting your time that you're spending on social media is very important. Maybe having a goal when you go in. Am I going in just to scroll for 5-10 minutes? Set a boundary, set a limit on that. Am I going in to interact? Am I going in to post? Okay, I'm going in, I've got my thing, I post, I get out. So yeah, definitely being mindful of how you're feeling and sitting with that and thinking, right, why am I going on here? Am I going on here because I'm feeling a bit crappy about myself and I want to see what everyone else is doing just so I can feel bad about myself? It's just setting a few boundaries and knowing why you're going on there and using it as a tool, being aware as well, aware of the time you're spending on there, how you're feeling, and all those things.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm like almost thinking about your micro habit in like almost the opposite way where you're like trying to get out of a habit, not be healthy for you or something. I was talking about this with someone recently. I was chatting. I'm like, who was I talking about this with? They're asking me, I think it was a podcast interview I was doing with someone else. They're asking me, how do you set boundaries with your social media? And I was like, I think that it's natural to like want distractions and to want to consume content. And if you get into the habit of like consuming content, it's really hard to just quit it cold turkey. Yeah. My husband deletes his Instagram every other month. I'm like, how do you do that? But okay, let's talk about it though, because he is on Reddit every day and he does not delete Reddit as much as he deletes Instagram, right? That kind of brings me to my point, because how I help to navigate my content consumption is I think about what type of content makes me feel better and feel better in the mind, feel better emotionally, and just like more healthy, right? And so instead of just like quitting Instagram cold turkey, I've more so been intentional about, okay, instead of scrolling Instagram, how about I listen to a podcast? Yes. And I love podcasts so much more because Instagram, you're scrolling along, it's like different topics every 2 seconds, and you don't have control over what you're about to see, right? And it can just be so jarring. Yeah. But with a podcast, it's, okay, I'm signing on to 30 minutes and like I know the topic, I probably know the host as well, so it's like safer. And like I also have been trying to go to Pinterest instead of Instagram more, because Pinterest is just I love it. It's like curated for me. It's just like nice stuff. It's not like doom scrolling. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think if we try and go cold turkey on anything, we're gonna binge on it eventually. So it's setting those boundaries, again, knowing why you're going on social media if you want to use social media, curating your feed. Like you said, on Pinterest, your Pinterest feed is all lovely stuff. It's about curating it so you're only following people who light you up, who make you feel good and all that sort of stuff. But it's good to have, obviously, there's lots going on in the world. It's good to have your pulse on it, but maybe only see those things when you're in the right headspace. It's not going to hit you first thing in the morning. I think also being mindful of when you're using social media, setting boundaries for yourself, so maybe you don't use it first thing in the morning. Take some time to set yourself up. You do some meditation, go for a walk, do some exercise, whatever it is that helps to set you up for the day so you're strong, you're resilient for the day. And then maybe have a little bit of time mindlessly scrolling, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's a nice way to connect. Switching to other things, like you say, a podcast, and you could pair that with going out for a walk and listening to something educational, or it could be something, there's podcasts out there where it's just a nice listen to. Like I love reading, I love to listen to podcasts about books and recommending books and things. So that's sometimes a nice bit of escapism. Yes, again, going back to those boundaries, setting those strong boundaries when you're using social media, if you are using it. If you want to break a habit or cut down on a habit, replace it with something else. It's a lot easier to replace a habit than it is to cut something out. So if you want to cut down on your social media, you can set up things on your phone like focus mode, so it won't let me go on certain apps even if I want to. So, you know, when you go to reach, it's just a habit. That's all it is. Reaching for our phone, scrolling through Instagram messages, blah, blah. It's just a habit. So we need to break that cycle by replacing it. When you go to reach for it, you replace it with something else, a glass of water. Okay, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to stick a podcast on. And the same in the evenings, make sure you have a cut-off point in the evening so you're not doom scrolling on your phone before bed, and that's the last thing going in your mind before you sleep, which is not great. Finishing your day with meditation or something that's going to wind you down so you've got a good hour or so where you're free from screens. But then also, like you said, using other things like Pinterest. Like I love Pinterest. There's always nice things on there you can read, lots of tips about setting boundaries, replacing one habit with another habit. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with replacing your habit. That's so much better than like, okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't like those like focus apps and the ones that like totally take me out. Like I frustrated me. It almost makes it like worse in a way for me. Myself. But yeah, I love like the replacing things. That's what I've been doing with Pinterest. I also, for example, I recently stopped drinking alcohol. It's been so much easier to replace it with like spin drips, they're called. They're like a fizzy water with fruit.
Oh, nice.
And I've also been doing just some like non-alcoholic beer just because when I get like the urge to be like, ooh, I need a cool down at the end of the day, just having either something fizzy or even non-alcoholic, it's just like the mid step, right? Yeah. And then just another thought for any listeners, I don't really do news very much at all. No. I try to really set boundaries with that because it's so bad. Yeah. I really like the CNN 5 Things newsletter. I'm signed up to that, and that's pretty much my main news source. And it is delivered in the morning, but I really like that for just getting my little gist. Yeah. And like, you know, if there's something I need to look into more, I can. And also just making sure that it's not completely taking over my energy and like draining me. Yeah. We really need to be aware of, as entrepreneurs, how our energy is throughout the day, managing that and being able to navigate it in a way that allows us to do our work and be as productive as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you share just like a few micro movement habits that people might start putting into practice throughout their day? Like, what are some of your favorites for getting your clients started?
Yeah. I really love to get, especially women, at strength training because it's so good for us. If you're going to do only one thing, I would say focus on strength training over cardio. I'm not saying you have to go and start lifting like really heavy things because that's definitely not what we want to do. We want to start small. Always the first rule, always start small. Whatever you are doing, find something that's manageable to start with. What's really easy to do is squats. So we get up out of a chair, we sit down in a chair, we're doing a squat. So we do squats every day. We can do them getting in and out of a chair if that's where you're at. But if you can do just a body weight squat, even just one while the kettle's on. I love using the kettle as a way to stick a habit to. It's called habit stacking. I think it's you stick something you want to do to something you already do. So you could do one squat every time you flip the kettle on and build it up that way. Over time, you could start adding in some light weights. You don't have to buy loads of stuff. Use what you've got around the house, some books, some cans, just something heavy. And then again, building that up slowly. So that's one good for your legs. And then something for your arms is press ups. So you don't have to start down on the floor. If you're Kinsey's face, this is hilarious.
Oh, God. Are they like push ups?
Push ups, press ups, whatever you want to call it.
But I hear you. I hear you.
So the easiest way to start is to do it against a wall. So you have your hands against the wall and you're just bringing your body closer to the wall. Then you can slowly start making it lower and lower. You could do it on a window ledge or a countertop in your kitchen. As we start getting older, we have to be mindful of things like osteoporosis. So we have to build our bones strong. It's also really great for making us feel good, for giving us energy, for all sorts of things. Another really good thing that I like is having a dance party. So stick your favorite tune on, have a little dance around the kitchen to just move your body, shake your energy out. And one final thing, which is so accessible for everyone, is going for a walk. It could be 5 minutes just around the block or just down the road, just to clear your head and try and fit that in throughout your day. So we are doing a little bit of moving, getting a little bit out of puff if we can. If you compare that with being nature, even better, because it's got so many benefits. But the main thing is choose one thing, start with one thing. So whether it's your squats, your press ups, your walking, your dance party, and try and fit that in at some point, whatever's going to work for you, even on your busiest day. It could be one squat when you put the kettle on a Monday. That's it. Start with that. Find that starting point. Like I said earlier, that might seem like the most ridiculous thing to do. What is even the point of doing that? But you build it up over time. And again, going back to that, why are you doing it? Why are you doing this? Because it makes me feel better. It's going to make my bones stronger. It's going to make me stronger into my old age. Like someone I follow online, she talks about building her old lady body. It's not about how you look. It's about how you feel. So it's really doing it for you and how internally it's going to make you feel. In the long term, it's going to be great. We're all about sort of short-term gains, aren't we? We want to know why. What's in it for me now? Why should I do this now? Kinsey hates doing squats and press-ups. Why should you do them now? Because it's going to make you stronger, more resilient, be able to climb up those rocks and have the strength in your arms, the strength in your legs to do the things you love. So if you hate doing squats, press-ups, whatever, think of a reason why. Maybe you have an activity like Kinsey where she loves her rock climbing, you love playing tennis, you love whatever it is. Know that doing these things are going to help you be better at those. I love dancing outside of what I do. I love swing dancing, like vintage Lindy Hop's dancing. Doing all of this helps me with that as well. It helps me to dance longer, gives me stronger legs, makes my lungs better so I can dance for longer. Start small, three or four, maybe little micro movements. Whatever it is you want to do, break it down into the smallest version of it. Definitely try and fit some strength training in. I would recommend starting with squats, press up, something for your arms, something for your legs, and a little bit of cardio, something that gets you a little bit out of path. So a walk is great, a jog if that's your thing, a dance around, trying to get up and down the stairs a bit more if you can. Start small. Know that something is always better than nothing. We're looking at consistency rather than constantly. Yeah.
I have loved everything that you've shared with us. And for sure, just the way you were explaining even the press ups. I'm going to start saying that now.
Push-ups.
And I think I can start doing that for sure. Like every morning I wake up, I make a coffee.
Yes.
And the coffee, we have like this like fancy schmancy espresso machine that Brett bought like 6 years ago. So it takes a little longer to make a coffee. So I'm like, okay, I can do just a few push-ups like off the counter.
Absolutely.
Even. That feels good.
Yep.
Also, I just have to quickly throw out there that next time I go on a run, I'm totally going to post on my Instagram stories and say, I'm puffed out. Or wait, what did you say?
Puffed out.
Out of puff. I'm out of puff, Lisa. I'm going to totally use that because that's so cute. But anyway, lady, thank you so much for coming on
You're
and
very
having
welcome.
this conversation. Can you share how everyone can find you, connect with you? I know they'll want to.
Probably Instagram, and I've just said that we've talked all about limiting Instagram, but it's a happy place to come. So Instagram is at Lisa Dawn Beckwith. My website has all my information on there, lisadawnbeckwith.com. It's got information about my podcast that will be coming back soon if you want to listen to some podcast episodes all about everything we've talked about. If you're interested in working with me, you can fill out my form, my Work With Me page, and we can have a chat. I work virtually, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I've got a habit tracker that fits perfectly with what we've been talking about today that you can download for free to help you be more mindful of what you're doing and how you're feeling. So you can download that for free at my website, lisadawnbeckwith.com/tracker. It's got a couple of little videos in there that help give you some ideas of how you can fit movement in and give you some ideas of movements you can do like we've talked about. Definitely message me, connect with me. I'd love to work with you and chat. So yeah, and just remember that you're amazing, keep moving, focus on how you feel rather than anything else, because it's so important to feel good, like this podcast, Feel Good Social.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Lisa. I can't wait to go download that tracker myself. I appreciate you and I've loved our conversation.
Oh, thank you, Kinsey. Me too. Bye.
How great was Lisa? You guys, I love the tips that she had to share. And it's so cool how so many of these things can be applied to, yes, our fitness and health, but also our business and the way we think about forming healthy habits when it comes to social media. So I know you love this convo just as much as I did. And if you did, make sure that you share it with a business friend who could also use to listen to it. And why not leave us 5 stars or a friendly review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on, because that will help us to continue growing our Feel Good community and spreading this Feel Good message. All right, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time I catch you.
Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.